There was nothing wrong with the 5 years of play 4 format. A world in which, like, if D2 and JUCO don't matter, Blake, why doesn't everybody just go D2 or JUCO? Play 2 or 3 years, hone in on their craft, and then they can just transfer to the SEC and say, I got 4 years to go.
Chris, this is not.
Hell, I'll just play till I'm fucking 30 because the eligibility thing doesn't even matter anymore.
Chris, this hasn't been reported on yet, but I'm going to tell you, come May, you're going to hear of some of these kids that are lower on these baseball totem poles that aren't going to show up on campus and are going to go to JUCO. And some of these coaches, like in the SEC, are forcing them to do it. I will tell you this. I think Tony Vitello, Jay Johnson, Schloss are 100% going to send some of these kids to get reps in JUCO so that they then can come back to them. And then it's like, why would you sit on the bench here when you can go hit in JUCO? Why would you do that?
It's like instead of gray shirting a kid and they stay on campus, I guess it is kind of like gray shirt. That's what gray shirting is, right?
Basically. Yeah. But now he gets the reps.
But now you get the reps. You actually get to play when you go to a different school.
Well, and here's the thing. What if the kid massively hits and then you can go get him in 1 year? Or if the kid flops, then you dodged a massive bullet. Oh, and by the way, you don't have to cut kids. You can make a decision. I don't care what anybody tells me. Watch what Jay and Tony and Schloss and all them do. All those JUCOs are going to be like, yes, feed me your players. JUCO might be some of the best baseball that you'll see.
Well, that's why, like, transferring isn't weird in baseball because we've been doing it forever because JUCO bandits have always been a thing. Some of the most legendary guys at, all these SEC schools and beyond have been guys that played a year or two or however many at junior college came up. It's a great tool. It's a great thing. It's great for guys who, maybe in high school their grades weren't great or maybe they got into some trouble or maybe they weren't developed and kind of wanted a second chance and, they got to be 19. Right. There's plenty of guys, plenty of stories. But it's it almost feels like D2 JUCO is becoming NAIA. I want to throw them in there too. D3, I don't care, whatever level. Becoming the minor leagues to D1.
It really is. I mean, it always was in a sense to some extent, right? Like I think of Rafe Rhymes, like LSU Eunice is a big powerhouse in JUCO. Like how many players at LSU E are in the SEC right now? It's a lot of them. Like they're a farm system for a lot of people. But anyway, that could be a whole episode 2 conversation to your point right now that we're just talking about.
To your point, this is To Your Point, episode 2. Appreciate you all tuning in. We're off and rolling, rocking and rolling as we always are. He's Blake Ruffino. I'm Chris Phillips. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure that you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast or we get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, well as our website, secunfiltered.com, and as always, powered by our friends over at FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/SECU to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, FanDuel.com/SECU to get $200 in bonus bets today. Blake, we rolled right into the show. I want to continue with that. Again, for those who may have missed the first part of that conversation, unfortunately, I hit the record button a little bit late there. But I admittedly was someone, I want to give my guy Dave Shoemate a lot of credit for this because Dave, our lead basketball analyst, for those that don't know, also one of our lead football analysts, great dude. Dave's an amazing human. One of the low-key funniest motherfuckers you've ever met. Dave called it when the Diego Pavia ruling came down. Like, he hated it. He thought it was bad for the sport, bad for college athletes. You remember Sarkisian was outspoken, and he Sark maybe took a little bit of heat here and there, and Dave agreed with him. And I selfishly was like, hell yeah, we get Diego Pavia back. He's a great story. He's great for he's one of those guys. He's great for content. He makes Vandy relevant. But it's been the aftermath of guys then being like, well, my D2 year didn't count. My JUCO year didn't count.
Right.
That has made me realize I don't think another year Diego Pavia was worth all this shit. The ripple effect that has happened. Another year, Diego Pavia in Nashville. Dude is awesome. Nothing against the kid. It's not worth it because, dude, I was a former D2 athlete. And listen, I understand. Like, dude, D2 is different. D2, and in the grand scheme of things, it pales in comparison to D1 and certainly SEC. Like, for example, Blake, hey, I got one pair of shorts and a shirt. I got a I got a jacket. I did get a custom glove, which was dope. But hey, we didn't have a ground screw, Blake. I had to go out there at 7 a.m. and pull the damn tarp myself. I've done that shit. Like, we didn't have the luxuries at SEC. So I get it. It's nowhere near like being a baseball player at LSU or South Carolina or Georgia or any of the others. But like, I also played with guys that a couple of them played the big leagues, at least went to the minors. Like, so to say like it doesn't matter and it doesn't count, it's just, it's lunacy. And you know who it's really messing up, dude, is the high school kids. What a wild time to be a high school prospect.
Without a doubt. Without it.
Like with any sport, because people don't think about it and we love it as a fan. Like, hell yeah, my favorite football team got this portal guy. And that's great and it's awesome. But at the same time, dude, like how many high school kids there isn't room for them. Like that to me is what's crazy.
Yeah. So to your point, that being the episode or this being the show, but to your point, I don't think it has hit the prevalence yet from football's perspective in the sense of that you're just not seeing the action like that yet. Baseball will be the sport that will transcend this because there's many, many more situations where you see a kid from JUCO. Chris, I'll throw this out there. Does that mean that Hayden Schott's got 4 years at Texas A&M? I mean, like, does that mean, like, could you imagine him being back again next year? That's essentially.
Dude, what about the combo with Chad Baker-Mazara potentially coming back for Auburn? He's like 25 years old.
I know. I mean, Chris,
like, what are we doing?
Well, here's the thing now, and I want to throw this your way. You were at Division II. You do realize that you have 4 years of eligibility technically right now. So if you wanted to go to your local college, okay, and play golf, you could do it, right? Like you could
tempt me with a good time, Blake.
Well, but don't
tempt me with a good. Hey, you imagine the content. Imagine the content.
Exactly, and then you already have a platform. And think about this. Think about all the guys that you could get to your platform based off of that. You have 4 years of eligibility.
I would like to announce my commitment. I'm coming to play college golf at LSU. Go Tigers.
All right, let me call it. We got him. We got him.
Hey, you can tell Jay, I'll come be a bullpen catcher. I'm good with that. You need a bullpen catcher? I got you. A left-handed bullpen catcher. I got it.
Listen, you talk about being tempted. Do not tempt me, okay, at the current moment. Text will be thrown out there. I just made that joke, but it's true.
It shows how ridiculous all this is that we can even make that joke, and there's some legitimacy to what we're saying.
You know what people will love is if Diego Pavia knocks off Tennessee, Alabama, whoever in the hell in the SEC, but that's not the point. There's guardrails in place for a reason. Chris, this has gotten out of control. Now, I was going to bring up the House case, which we don't have to really get into.
Fill me, if you want to fill me in, because I'm kind of
basically the NCAA got sued, and it's about TV revenue. And Kirby was talking about this the other day. Basically, universities have to do 50-50 revenue share, right? Like that's what they have to do from a TV revenue standpoint, okay? With that being said, the NCAA just keeps getting sued and lose. Chris, there are no guardrails. There are zero guardrails. By the way, if a kid is academically eligible through the institution or the school, the NCAA can't do anything right now because they can get sued and they'll lose again. When we say that there's no real guardrails in place, there's not. Now, the House case in general, Chris, it's a settlement in reference to back pay of players getting TV revenue money. It's also going to be the ruling on players getting 50-50. That is essentially the ruling. Livvy Dunne, who we'll talk about today, she was there saying, well, you know, the men are getting 90% of the money. Well, of course they are. And I love Livvy Dunne. I disagree with her on what she said in court yesterday. It's like she's going out there saying, well, women's sports and Title IX. Chris, I got to be real with you. The court system in front of our eyes, which nobody really is paying attention to, is making college football capitalist, which it should have always been. But you can't go into court and say, hey, football team, save all the women's sports. And Title IX is a big deal here because you have to have the same amount of scholarships and provide the same amount of opportunities. Well, they might not, Chris, they can't do that now. If you got to pay the football program $20 million in TV revenue share, that's $20 million that you're not paying for other sports. So with the eligibility, with the TV revenue, all of these things are getting settled in a federal court system. We don't have any guidelines as to, we're having to go individually line by line to get everything done in this House case, which is a good thing, right? Like, hey, at least we're getting to a place now where we're starting to get some of these guidelines. But I don't mean this in a wrong, sexist way at all. What I mean by the Livvy Dunne comment, she goes, I don't think that my worth, like the TV revenue money, I'm getting my worth. You're in a non-generated revenue sport. You know who's really not getting their worth right now and has never gotten their worth? That had been football. Chris, they're about to get paid around roughly, and I'm just throwing the rough numbers that's been out there on social media, $20 million. Like what that if I'm a football player and I said, if I was Joe Burrow or Jaden Daniels or Cam Newton or Tim Tebow, what would they have made? Like, this is what it's about. The revenue is not getting made in, Chris, we love baseball. You and I love baseball. Outside the SEC, who's generating revenue in baseball? No one.
And even in the SEC, some aren't.
Even in the SEC.
A lot of more than a few aren't.
So again, I bring them. It's not a men versus women thing or a Title IX thing. Chris, who is bringing in the money? That would be like me and you. Hey, listen, me and you, we both talk about sports. You got to start giving me money because we both are in the same entity and both part of the same thing. Or I got to give you money because we're part of the same thing. You ain't going to do that. I'm not going to do that either. I got 2 small kids. I can't feed my damn self. Blake, you can feed yourself. Look at your big ass. But you get what I'm saying. Like, that's the part where all this is getting settled. And Chris, I do think, here's the good news about the eligibility thing. So I say all that to say this. The good news is we are getting some guidelines. We are getting some rulings on this. But I will tell you, some of these you're not going to like. The eligibility, you're not going to like. Like, some of this is going to be like, well, it's a new day in college athletics. When have we not, as a fan, when have we not been pooed on since 2020? When? When has things not been chaotic in college athletics? When? You tell me.
And it only continues to go spiraling out of control.
Chris, they can't even go after, well, we talked about tampering last week in the SEC, and I called out Sankey. They can go after tampering, but nobody has the leadership, or nobody really has, I don't want to say the spine, but nobody wants to attack this head on. You're letting a political system and a justice system figure this out for you. Judge Claudia Wilkin yesterday, Chris, came out there. Her first sentence was, why the first thing that y'all should have done for me when we got in here is that y'all provided me a collective bargaining agreement. Chris, they missed the NCAA missed on the one thing that they should have done. The one thing. Of course they did. Of course they missed. It's the NCAA. You hired a governor to run a sporting athletic company. A governor. For what? For what? Like, for what reason? So to the point of all this, I'll end it here. Look, I love Livvy Dunne, but if we're going to be talking about fair and equal and everything that, dude, Chris, we might be talking about 3 main sports from here on out. Like, that's where we could be here. Now, other institutions in Olympic sports is going to take the biggest hit out of all of this. Okay. But I don't mean this in a wrong way. Why should the football program give the money to an Olympic sport because the school wants it? That's ultimately going to be the thing. So
everybody wants to be treated fair and equally until they are. You know?
Well, Chris,
what's fair and equal, again, if we're really going to operate like a business with a bottom line,
my dad is
you know as well as I do, Blake. Like, you're doing what you're doing full time. I've been doing what I'm doing full time since 2019. And one of the things I've learned as an entrepreneur, there, and every great business I think operates this way. Like, people ask about, how much do you work or how many hours? It's not about that. There are money making activities and there are non-money making activities. There are things that drive revenue, and there are things that are costs, sunken costs. And if you look at it like that, yeah, to your point, Blake, it's Yeah, Livvy Dunne sport, unfortunately, you know where you stand.
You say that her value was more in NIL than TV revenue. Of course it is. You're on the cover of GQ with Paulie. Yeah, they're on the cover of GQ.
They're on the cover.
How much you think they got paid to be on the cover of GQ?
Enough. A pretty penny. High sixes, I would imagine. High six, at least.
At minimum.
Maybe seven figures. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you get – okay. I don't think you get Paul Skenes on the cover of any magazine to take photos without seven figures.
Yeah.
I don't. If he don't care –
I mean, think of how viral that interview is going, which we're about to talk about. I mean,
just
worth every penny.
It's worth every penny because he goes out there and he says – she goes, what is the favorite thing that you like about me? And he goes, my personality. He goes, yeah, sure. Like that. Oh, my God.
Blake, before we get into that, I and the people need an update on T-ball drama because, like as is with us, every time we hop on the airwaves, some shit pops off, and the most unexpected. Like, I think previously when I dropped clips from our conversations, it was like, yeah, I get it. You know, Blake said something about the Aggies or said something about Garrett Nussmeier or said something about whatever. But what happened with this and the drinking at T-ball practice thing, I think it's like 100,000 views on TikTok later. And the Instagram clip is catching fire as well, Blake. That's up to like 30,000. And then you're calling me. It's making its rounds in Louisiana. So we need an update on because the state of Louisiana has been buzzing over the last week.
Chris, I never knew that my fanhood in doing this would revolve around people approaching me more than ever before in reference to T-ball and drinking. Now, listen, to all those in the comments, I am from Louisiana. I'm born and bred here. My coaches did it. Like, I understand that this goes on. But number one, if you got a daiquiri in a styrofoam cup, we all know, okay, that no one knows exactly what's in the cup. If you're bringing out an ice chest full of Natty Lights, that's a different story. But
hey, don't take a sip out of Paul's cup. Don't
take a sip. It could be dip. It could be Natty Light.
No one knows what's in that cup.
You have no idea.
My cup.
And look, as the night goes long, there could be some other brown liquid in there. And it might, that's just the truth. Dude, quick story. I go to the barbershop. I told you this, but just to everybody in here, I go to the barbershop. Chris, I sit down in the chair. I'm in there 20 seconds. We got a whole conversation brewing with all these people for a 30-minute, 40-minute haircut and reference to, man, they did that because everybody wanted to know to start off with. They wanted to know, hey, is it going on where we're playing T-ball? And I had to tell them, number one, where we're playing T-ball. Then everybody wanted to know the story. So everybody's like, well, here's the big thing. Everybody in Louisiana agreed that T-ball coaches drink during practice. Everybody came to the consensus that bourbon.
All the comments were like, yeah, I mean, y'all don't.
Exactly. Exactly. There's no real drama as games will be starting in a couple of weeks. But I do promise you, I feel it in my bones. There will be something that happens in these next couple of weeks. The only thing is I would say this. My son is hitting some bombs, and he's getting a little too big for his britches. So Daddy had to strike him out last night to kind of show him like, hey, bro, this is not like, come on, we got to continue to practice. But I've never been approached more in my life or reached out to more in my life more than T-ball drama.
Blake, I think because I don't think it's a secret. I'm coming to Baton Rouge end of the month. I need to figure out the schedule and see if there's a T-ball game that week because I think drinking at a T-ball game in Louisiana has all of a sudden shot up to the top of my bucket list.
I would say this.
That needs to be part of the experience now. Like, I know I'm going to drink at the LSU baseball game, but I need to see the T-ball atmosphere. It'd be like a mini Alex box out there. Smell of bourbon just lingering through the air, watching a bunch of kids try to picking flowers in the outfield.
Chris, we went through this when we were kids. We didn't understand it from a parent's prism, or an adult's prism. I don't think that there's more entertaining sports in the state of Louisiana more than what you're going to see out at T-ball. Even if LSU takes 2 or 3 from Tennessee, which I hope happens. Hell, I hope they sweep them. I think you'll have more drama at Ben Ruffino coming up to the plate with runners on second and third. And listen, we got mamas out there that's screaming, daiquiri spits flying everywhere. I mean, look, baby just hit a 2 RBI, single or double. It is entertaining. Last year was probably the most fun, in all honesty, that I'd had in sports in a long time. Just because, like, dude, it's so fun for the kids. It's so fun for everybody. But mamas out there, they're screaming. They scream, woo, woo. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, what's going on? And for the love of God, don't little Johnny hit a double or strike out. Because little Johnny, get him next time, Johnny. But here's my favorite one. You ready? Chris, you'll know this one. Get your elbow up. Oh, my God. To all the elbow up parents, come on now. Come on.
I'm just thinking how brutal it would be, Blake, to be maybe not T-ball, obviously, but past that a few years when you get into when they actually start pitching, to be a little league umpire in Louisiana. Oof. I can't imagine daiquiri-fueled, bourbon-fueled parents and you being a little league umpire, because you can't win as a little league umpire. You're wrong every time. You're wrong. Even being a coach.
Chris,
I've been a little league coach. I will never do that shit again. I think I coached like 12-year-old. I will never do that again. Never.
Chris, I've seen parents get tossed.
I don't doubt it.
I've seen parents get tossed.
I do not doubt that.
Like, and listen, to the parents' defense, I remember walking up last year to a game, and there's a pitch way outside. I mean, Chris and the other batter box. Like, I mean, it's bad. And this mama got to chirping, and then the umpire clapped back at the mama, and then here comes daddy. Like, you don't talk to my wife like that. And he goes, "You're out of here." And he goes, "Well, you suck." And he goes, "What? What?" And they get in this whole dispute, and I'm like, bro, first off, it's a ball. Like, I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, you rung the kid up on a 1-2 count. I mean, it's a horrible call. But at the same time, if you're a parent, like, I get it. You can chirp, but if you're an umpire, you got to let people chirp too. That's their baby, man. Like, if you're that bad, you got to receive some of the bad, like the chirping that comes behind it.
You got to know when you miss. You got to be able to know when you miss and be like, "Hey, I missed that one." Even in the big leagues, they do it.
Exactly. You know what I'd say? I'd say I don't have instant replay. I thought it was a strike. Like, I don't, just, and here's the thing. It teaches you about the game, which is funny because Ben's like, "Oh, but Daddy, that wasn't a strike." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's not." But it also teaches, here's the big thing. I looked at Ben and said, like, "Hey, you don't clap back at the umpire like that. You let me or your coach do it. You let me handle it. You respect the game, run back to the dugout, go get him the next time around. Because you will have another time." So just, it's so interesting.
So guys you don't get ejected in football like that. I mean, you never targeted a guy or anything.
Targeting was not a thing.
I'm about to say, oh, what a beautiful thing.
No,
like Ruffino was just taking dudes' heads off.
I got suspended for a drive because when we were in like junior high, whatever, if you're over, of course, I'm going to make fun of myself. If you're over a certain weight limit, you couldn't run the football. Kickoff. Your boy was on kickoff, like just wedge. Ball came to me. Brother, we picking that thing up and we hauling ass. Okay? I literally, brother, all my life, smaller kid, like runs up to me, hits me, and he falls down. I'm chugging. Whistles start blowing. They throw a flag. He's got to sit out a series. And you ask my mama, I'm like, I'm going for 6, baby. You don't kick it to me then. Like, hey, we're all on the same field. Why can't I run? Just because he's smaller and I'm not? That's discriminatory towards me. You know what? I'm about to do an NCAA investigation here. I'm about to sue the Little League organization for fat people. Fat people need love too. Chris, could you imagine if you put a fullback at 200 pounds in Little League? Like, let him run.
I mean, everybody else is getting sued. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? I mean, if JUCO and D2 doesn't count for you, then these pounds don't count for me.
Exactly. It's not my fault that we got Pyrans across the street. Like, what am I supposed to do? I will say this. I understand the premise of it and the reasoning behind it. But, man, the one time I ever scored a touchdown was a fumble in the end zone. I fell on it, and I, got the wind kicked out of me. So the one celebration that I had, I couldn't breathe. And everybody's making fun of me because, like, oh, he's so excited he can't breathe. I'm like, no, I fell on the football. It hit me right in the lungs, man. I can't breathe. I had a whole thing in my mind what I was going to do if I ever scored. I was going to spin the ball, and do like the icky shuffle, but I couldn't breathe. I'm laying down there. They're like, what's wrong with him? But fumble in the end zone. 54 coming for your ass if that ball's in the end zone. Brother, we'll go full Big Show on your ass.
Nothing better than a big man touchdown. There's nothing better. Nothing beats it.
The best touchdown of all time was when your boy on kickoff for the Patriots took one for 6. There's nothing more than a fat man touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah. I on the note of getting tossed, I almost got tossed multiple times. I'm shocked I didn't get tossed. The one time where I should have got thrown out and I didn't, and maybe the ump just missed it, I don't know. But you know what the one cardinal sin is with umpires when you're a hitter, and that's drawing a line in the dirt. And I did that. I did. It was a bad call. It was 6 inches off the plate. This is when I was still hitting, like playing high school showcase ball, whatever. Ball was 6 inches off the plate, rings me up, and I just like looked back and was like, did the whole thing. Like you look back, you're like what was that? Walk off, flip the bat around, draw the line with the end of the bat. Like this is where the ball was. I don't know how I didn't get thrown out then, but dude, I Blake, I don't know. This probably won't come as a surprise to you, but I was pretty fiery when I was. Oh, when I was in high school and college. Like, I was nobody's gonna believe this, but I was a more reserved, shy kid. Funny enough, like I wasn't as outgoing, outspoken, like off the people, but on the field, dude, I would high step off the mound if I got a strikeout I liked.
So
I blew a kiss at a guy on first before. Yeah. I was low key at time. I wasn't all the time, but I had my psycho pitcher moments. Maybe that's why I like really enjoy that content. Cause I'm like, I
understand it.
I mean, listen, and I didn't throw 100. If I threw 100, I'd have been acting out.
Dude, the Lord knew when he blessed some of us not being able to throw the ball 100 miles an hour. Do you know what I would do? Or you said this for you too. If I was Paul Skenes, like Paul Skenes has the mentality that he could do it. Brother, I would be chirping at everybody. Like, you suck. Like, hey, you know what I do? I'd be the guy that'd be like, hey, two seam, low and inside. See if you can hit it. The whole Roger Clemens All-Star game with A-Rod. That guy would be mine. But here's what I will say. Did you see Galvan in the walk-off this weekend against Georgia? And then he's waving. He's like doing the bye-bye to the shortstop at Georgia. Yeah. Baseball's a cruel sport now. I will say.
And I think that's why a lot of guys are more reserved. Like, dude, let's move into the Paul Skenes thing. Paul Skenes, Livvy Dunne, GQ interview. Fucking hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. But Paul Skenes, what's funny, because like we're going to make fun of Paul a little bit here. We're going to pick on him a little bit. I know it's a little bit blasphemous for you, Blake, because he's essentially, I imagine for Blake Ruffino and many other LSU fans, I think you probably imagine when you die and you get to heaven, it'll be Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, and Paul Skenes waiting for you at the pearly gates, letting you in, essentially. All the crawfish and gumbo you can stand, and all the daiquiris and bourbon at a T-ball game you can
without
drink.
A doubt.
Without a doubt. That's Bayou heaven.
It is Bayou heaven.
Dear Burrow Bayou Jesus.
Right here, I don't. You can't see it, but you see it if it's like a normal show. But here is the Paul Skene signed helmet for you, boy.
Yeah,
like I ain't coming in here making fun of Paul.
I mean, I will pick on him a little bit, but what people don't realize, he has the perfect mentality for a pitcher.
He does.
He's unaffected. You don't know if he's up 10, down 10. That is the perfect mentality for a pitcher to have. That's probably one of the reasons he's going to set the record for contract, because the stuff is one thing, but to be so even keel. I mean, dude, listen. And I mean, do I think there are more attractive women than Livvy Dunne? Yes, I do. So I'm not one of these like Livvy Dunne stan people, but Livvy Dunne is obviously very, very attractive. If you can be that unaffected and that calm, cool, and collected around Livvy Dunne, like literally just she is like she doesn't even, it looks like she doesn't even move the needle for him. You can be that cool. I mean, baseball is like whatever, right? I mean, baseball is whatever, dude. I mean, he's, and that's why we talked about it off the air. That's why Livvy Dunne is obsessed with Paul Skene, because I'm sure every dude Livvy Dunne has ever met has been like worshiping the ground she walks on. And Paul Skene's like, I don't even know who the fuck you are.
She admitted it in that interview. Remember, she was like, you remember we met in Mississippi and you barely wanted to give me a hug and you wouldn't talk to me?
By the way, do you have any intel? They met in Mississippi. Was this baseball? Was this?
I really don't know that.
Come on, Blake. We need the hard hitting. Let me get the back. What people don't know, by the way, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what people don't know, you gave me the scoop on this relationship months before the world knew. Months. And I didn't say anything. I like, dude, it was Omaha 2023. I don't think people knew they were together till like the football. Yeah, I think it was like when they were at the football game together or something. Maybe like just before that.
Yeah,
dude, we knew months ahead.
Right. And I told you about it because they were together in Omaha. So I'm assuming, look, it's got to be during the baseball season, right? Like it's got to be during some. Was
she chasing Paul Skenes to
no?
Or Oxford?
I vividly remember like LSU going to. I feel like there was a away game that the gymnastics team had a meet that same weekend, and both teams were at the same place at the same school at the same time. And I do think that that's pretty much where it all happened, you know, like, but that's, I don't know that the one time that the reason I knew that they were actually together is that they were seen together with Paul's parents and Livvy sitting at a table at a suite in a hotel in Omaha. Okay. Now to put this on like full display, it was the next day when everybody started knowing that Paul Skenes and Livvy Dunne were an item. Paul Skenes went out there and for 10 innings shut down Wake Forest. Shut them down. Didn't allow a run. And I texted everybody I knew. I think I even told you this. I was like, listen, if she breaks up with him, she will never walk back on LSU's campus. That's how serious this is. We got to stay together until after Omaha is over with. You know, like we got to get this natty, Livvy. But no, I mean, like I don't remember vividly like when it happened. But, you know, I will address your first comment, though. Paul did mention this. I joke with you about this a couple of times off air. He was asked when he was at LSU, why are you so even keel? And I'm being dead serious about this. Chris, he was a fighter pilot in the Air Force. He was training. And he has even said, once baseball's over, I'm going back. Like, I am going back. Now, look, you make $100 million, we'll see. You know, like, you got a lot more than – but he wants to finish that. He loves the Air Force. Chris, the mentality that Jay talked about was the fact that, listen, there's not – everything that happened on the diamond was cannon fodder to him. Chris, he was in a plane going Mach 2. Right? Like, I mean, we got to understand like the different level of situation that he was in. Chris, if he never leaves the Air Force ever, what is he doing now? Right? Like if he never goes in the portal, then what? So I do think that he has said this. He goes, listen, I feel like that I just get to go out there and have fun based off the life experiences at a young age that I've already had. And he comes from a family that's been through a lot of the same stuff. So I think it's a mentality thing. Now, physically, nobody is as gifted, right? Like, I mean, that's just a generational stuff. But the mindset of mentality of, hey, this dude 3 weeks ago before he showed up on LSU's campus went Mach 2. Like that's the point. So when Livvy Dunne says, and the whole thing about, well, you think my personality is the best. And he's like, yeah, okay. That's the level of that's the level of just okay, whatever. Because Chris, look, I've never really shared this. My life experiences of my past employments. I've been in some very critical situations. Life comes at you in a different way when you've been in a critical situation, life or death situation, versus you just playing a game. Like that's we take this shit too seriously sometimes.
Well, and to the thing I can respect, because, again, I will say about the interview was hilarious. Paul Skene's mannerisms are hilarious because he does look like a guy that's like, you know, people have been making the jokes on social media. He does look like a guy where it's like all he wants to do is like, he's sitting there in this interview is like, all right, when can I go throw the baseball? Like that's all he wants
Chris,
to do is go throw the ball. But
remember the Rookie of the Year photo when he's like Livvy Dunne's going crazy because he won the award and he's doing this.
He's just like, yeah, I just want to get back into the baseball. Like, I'll just me throw ball hard. Like that's Paul. Me throw ball hard. When can I go back to field? Throw ball hard.
Serrano need bat.
I mean, that's it. But I will say to your point about how unaffected he is and we take it too serious. He also, I saw it this morning actually. He also mentioned that interview. He does not have the Instagram app. I'm sure he doesn't have Twitter because why would he? Paul Skenes, maybe Paul Skenes is a reflection of how unbothered people would be if they just didn't have social media. Like I love social media, and social media is how we built careers and livelihoods.
Exactly.
I love it for what it does for business, but I can't lie to you, Blake. There are times where I'm like, man, what a free existence. Because Paul Skenes, I don't know if a human being on planet Earth has ever given less of a fuck what anyone thinks about them than Paul Skene does.
Dude.
He doesn't give a damn, dude.
Okay.
You know who hasn't seen all the Paul Skene takes about his personality? Him. He ain't watching any of that shit.
No. Bro, they were in Omaha. And somebody asked him, are you seeing all this praise of you going number 1 overall? You know what his comment was? He goes, the only thing that I'm watching on, and this isn't even social media, he goes, I'm watching UFO documentaries on YouTube.
That is
or something to that.
That is very on brand.
Right. Like he had no care in the world.
Yeah.
He had no care in the world. Bro, go listen to Jay's post game after they won a national title. You know, because LSU was up on Florida. What was it? 17-5, 17-6, whatever it was, or 15-5, whatever it was. You know, Paul came out in the gold jerseys. The only time we ever saw Paul in the gold jerseys, and he never got to throw. Because he always wanted to wear purple. You know, he went to Jay when Jay said, we wear purple. Oh, Friday nights on game, we wear purple.
I wear purple.
I wear purple.
Throw ball hard.
You know, people forget this. He went in the bullpen and put a towel over the camera to where they couldn't see him during the telecast of him warming up. And they asked him, he goes, bro, I ain't giving you access to anything that I do. He takes it so seriously, though, and we say that he doesn't care, but it doesn't change the fact of how serious he takes this. The thing that
I think he does care immensely. I just think he's a very he's a different cat, bro. He's a different cat.
He doesn't care what you say about him. He deeply cares about what happens on the field.
Right.
The biggest Paul Skene memory I'll ever remember, and just who he is as a person. Military kid, generational talent. Alex Milazzo breaks his leg at home plate. You remember what happened? He was like, no man left behind. So Alex Milazzo's in an air cast. LSU wins a national championship in game 3. He puts him on his shoulders so that they could all go and dogpile. Like listen, he throws 102. Okay. I don't think the reason he's so successful, and the whole thing with Livvy Dunne, which we see and we laugh about, it's more about the mentality of how he attacks things. No man left behind. Paul wear purple.
Paul no wear yellow.
Paul don't wear gold jersey. Paul wear purple jersey. And by the way, he made stirrups cool again, by the way. You know, he wore the stirrups. He made the stirrups cool again. Make syrup, and then he wears the stance socks. You know what I'm talking about? The stance MLB socks.
Yeah.
Dude.
The interview was hilarious though. Because anybody who should be anybody who knows body language and like I just was like when they're like, what's my favorite thing about, or what's your favorite thing about me? And she's like, my personality, and looks at the camera and like essentially winks. I'm like, damn.
Exactly.
Damn.
Well, all right.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, for sure.
I'm not gonna say, but you know, the whole thing that social media, this is not a Blake Ruffino take, but social media. Remember when he got called up to the show and Livvy Dunne was on the reaction of like him getting called up, and he was like,
are you talking about when we just woke up from a nap
We just woke up from a nap thing, and he is like drenched.
Get out of here.
Like he's drenched. And I'm like, dude, it's not Blake Ruffino's take. I love Paul Skene. I think Paul take nap now. Okay, like he could definitely be taking nap.
That's an intense nap, buddy. That's an intense nap.
He could have just gotten out of the shower. Pause. But he could have just gotten out of the shower. I don't know. But it's just like what people's mind in the comments were going to. Paul take no nap. Paul don't need no nap. Paul go throw a baseball now. Like that mentality. But the comments were golden, bro. You aren't taking no nap.
That was an intense nap if he took one. Would you take a nap in a sauna?
Dude.
I mean, what else did they say in the interview? There was the personality bit, and then there was the what was the other thing that she said? What was the other question?
I don't off the top of my head.
I feel like I've watched it so many freaking times that I'm like,
I remember the personality one, and where did we meet?
Oh yeah. But he just was so unbothered. I don't know. That was really funny.
I really did. In all seriousness, I know we're kind of joking. I felt like a dude that just didn't want to be there. But I will say this, because I do cover LSU. I got to say this: name a bigger branding thing for you. Like name another school that's got that.
Yeah. He's the most unbothered athlete. It's very funny,
without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Blake. First off, it is Masters Week. We don't have to spend a ton of time on this. I'm a huge golf guy. You see, we got it going. I told you this off the air. I'm going to flex really quickly because a lot of people have Masters merch. I have Masters merch. I went to the Masters last year. I've been a few times in my life. I'm from that area, born and raised North Augusta, South Carolina, right across the river. Grew up 10 minutes from the Augusta National. If you look at the tag of this shirt, Blake, it's Augusta National Golf Club, not the Masters. Scored this early 2010s from a guy in Augusta, paid like, I don't know, $80, but from the pro shop. So I want to throw that humble flex out there. Your boy's going to be locked into the golf coverage all week. I am very, very excited.
Who'd you take to win?
So I got 10 bets, 10 $10 bets. Because golf is, dude, betting on one is just
insane,
virtually impossible. The one favorite I took is Rory McIlroy. I did not bet on Scotty Scheffler. I don't think he's going back to back. It's just very, very hard to go back to back,
and it's very rare.
And there's no value betting on it. He's plus 450. I put $10 bets on this. It'd be $10 to win 45. I really hope Rory doesn't win because $10 to win $65 doesn't do a whole lot for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I got Russell Henley, Joaquin Niemann, Minwoo Lee, Shane Lowry, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Ludwig Oberg, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, and Rory McIlroy. Brooks Koepka, Blake, fun fact, is actually my favorite golfer on the PGA. Well, I say PGA Tour, he's on Live, but it's actually my favorite pro golfer. So I think Koepka is going to get a green jacket. But we don't have to spend a ton of time on it, Blake, but I will tell you, it is a magical week. Speaking as someone that is born and raised there from that area, it is a magical week, truly. It is, and I love golf, grew up playing golf. My dad played college golf. I played competitive golf till I was 16. I was that. I'll tell you this, Blake. I was that, and we've all been there, right? I'm sure for you, like you're watching an NFL game or an LSU game, and you'd be in the backyard dreaming of being the whatever position. I don't know, maybe tight end, running back, whatever it is. You dream of catching the winning touchdown pass. As a baseball player, I dreamed of 3-2 count, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, getting the strikeout to win the game. Dude, as a kid, as a young teenager, I remember being the kid in the backyard hitting plastic golf balls, dreaming of like I'm being the hometown kid playing in the Masters. It's just like it is I tell you, man, I don't know where it'd rank on your totem pole, and maybe others. Like if you're not a really big into golf person, it is, you could argue it is the most prestigious sporting event in the world. Like it is that level. It's that level. Well, and you've never seen it, right?
What do you mean?
In person. You've never been.
No, I've never been there in person.
I'll tell you this. My message for those who have not been, as somebody who's, again, from that area and who's been, if you look at prices, right, because unless you win the lottery, you're going to have to buy these tickets from a ticket buying app, which, by the way, use Game Time if you do. Use promo code SECU. You're going to need the $20 off because the tickets are like, I think the cheapest I saw this week was like a few grand, like $3,000. But I will tell you, if you are in a place in life where you can spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on a ticket. I know that sounds ridiculous, but if you are in a place in life where you can do that, you need to, because I'm telling you, you've never seen anything like it. Like, the Masters it's not just a golf tournament, Blake. Like, it is, and it's not just like a nice golf course. It is the definition of perfection. There is not an imperfection on that golf course. Every blade of grass, every piece of pine straw, just to the perfect. Every grain of sand is in place.
You know anybody that's ever played it, like personally?
Yeah. I know a few guys that have played it. Yeah, and it's through connections, people they knew. But if you ever get a chance, man, and that's what really keeps me grounded, Blake. We continue to have successes in business, but I'm like, man, I've made it this far, and I still don't have a fucking connection to get Masters tickets. I obviously haven't made it far enough. Damn it.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine. Shout out Alex Billings. They would go every year. Now, he lived right behind a golf course. Like, his house was like right behind a golf course, and they played religiously. And I would be the guy, that one token friend you got that drives everybody around in the golf cart, and then
I got that guy.
Yeah, I'm the big guy that would take the swing and just hit the shit out the ball, and then just like literally do it. But I love watching the Masters. Like, I can't play it. I'm not good. I'm not whatever. I love watching it. But to your point, the surrounding parts of it. Here goes Koepka, 3-iron. Like it does give you, like, I'll tell you this, as a dad, there's nothing better falling asleep in my recliner for an hour and waking up and we're down the final stretch. That's my level of golf.
It is a beautiful Sunday nap sport, I will say. There's nothing more soothing to fall asleep to.
Well, and I
don't know if that's like a positive for the sport, but it is just a reality. I mean,
I will say this, it is. I'll tell you this. I got exposed to golf and like watching it because I have a good buddy who's like really, really big into it. It's fun to watch. But you know what's funny is like watching the Masters. It's like, hey, this is the elite of the elite. This is the Super Bowl. This is the elite of the elite. Like, you watch this. Like, dude, all the food, all the stuff that encompasses it is probably, like you said, it might be the biggest thing in the sport. Think about this. ESPN does not run an ad for a Super Bowl or Monday Night Football. They'll run Masters ads in January. They'll run them in September, and then the magical song. And
you got Jim Nance. Hello, friends. I'm Jim Nance from Augusta.
Oh, he's not going to be there anymore,
Georgia. Well, in 2036.
Right? Oh, okay.
I don't know how that. I'm like. You're announcing your retirement tour a decade in advance?
Oh, okay. I thought it was for like this year. So
no. He had, I don't know if he went on a show or rumor got out, but he was like, Jim Nance will officially retire because 2036 is the 100-year anniversary of Augusta National Golf Club. And I'm sure he kind of identified as like, I'm also going to be at an age. I mean, Jim Nance is stupid fucking loaded. I mean, Jim Nance don't need to call it anything ever again.
Does he have the best voice in sports?
He does now. I think you could put up an argument with God, what's his name? You are looking live at Death Valley in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I mean, there's the Musburgers in the world.
Right.
There's the who was the guy that would call what's his name? Keith, who would call the Rose Bowl?
Oh,
this is the game between Texas and USC.
Right.
Here in Pasadena, California.
I
don't know. We got to give old Lynn some love. You can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye.
Oh, that's getting clipped. That's going on AYS. That is getting clipped. But that makes it. I remember as a kid, like Vern.
He's still on 16. Vern is still on 16. Obviously, doesn't do college football anymore, though.
Right.
Yeah. I miss some of those old. Remember Ron Franklin?
I do.
He was that was like a voice of my childhood here in Ron Franklin.
Right. Yeah. You know what I think another one of the best ones is the dude that does the NBA finals and he, like, somebody hits a three, like Steph hits a three and he goes bang.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, like, that's just like that. Dude, when you have that, that's when you know that you've hit folklore, right? Like, and to the Masters, like Nance, Vern. Like you think of Tiger, like when Tiger, remember when Tiger got hurt? I mean, like that replays in my mind. I can remember him being like, what was it? Right on the hill, right? Like you remember the chip right on the hill, and he's like wincing in pain. And Vern said something to the effect of like, he's in immense pain, but what a hell of a shot. Let's see if he can make it up the hill. He made it up the hill. And I'm like, he's narrating his life, and here's the thing. It's the only sport where you talk about someone individually for that long, if you think about it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, there's guys like, it's Champions Tour now, but golf, you can play your entire life. It's why I'm really glad I played college baseball instead of college golf, because baseball, the window's so small. Golf, you can mess around forever. You can literally play into your 60s, 70s. Some guys play in the 80s, like whatever. Dude, Augusta National, though, some fun facts, Blake. The Masters is a very, like, I saw somebody say this on social media. I don't know that I agree, but I maybe think to an outside person understand, where somebody said it insists upon itself, where it's a little over the top. They are. For example, they don't call fans there. They're patrons.
Oh, yeah.
You don't call it the front nine and the back nine at Augusta National. It's the first nine and the second nine. Why? I don't know. What else? Oh, they are very particular. So, like the patrons thing, they tell all their announcers what they can and can't say. So I'll never forget this. I don't know if you know Johnny Miller is. He played in the PGA Tour, but he used to be one of he was on the call when Tiger chipped in 2005 playoff against Chris DeMarco, the famous chip on 16 where it rolls down the hill and the Nike logo
I remember that.
Johnny Miller is the one saying, he's essentially, before Vern, he comes on and says, Johnny Miller says, he'd be fortunate to get this within DeMarco's ball. Of course, he hits it in. I don't know if people know this. Johnny Miller got booted off of the Masters telecast, like calls, because I think one year he made a comment saying that the greens were so slick that like they put bikini wax on them or something like that. And Augusta National was like, nope, you're out. They do not fuck around. Augusta National does not fuck around. And you talk about, Blake, fuck you money.
Oh, yeah.
How do you join Augusta National? You don't. You get invited.
Right.
Augusta National is so private that there was a golf course that when I was fresh out of college, I used to caddy at. It's called Sage Valley Golf Club. Great spot. Actually, one of my logo golf balls up there is Sage Valley. Look it up. It's as close to the Augusta National as you'll get. The story behind it, and everybody that goes out there knows. Weldon Wyatt was a guy who, who his best friend was?
Who?
Sam Walton. Big money, Big money, huge money, right? So this guy's like, he wanted to join Augusta National. They told him to piss off. They don't care how much money you have. Like, I don't think like Bezos is a member. They don't give a fuck. Like, no, we have to invite you. We don't care how much money you have. Wyatt literally said, to hell with you. He built his own course, which is also primo. I mean, it's that course Blake, you can join. You know what the initiation fee is to join that course? It may have changed over the years, but you know what it was when I was out there?
What was it?
$250K initiation fee. And then I think it was like $30,000 a month, whether you played or not. Those were the dues.
I love sports more than the average human being. I don't love that shit that much.
We talking about NIL. Some of y'all's favorites out here. Hey, the bag men are the bag men in many ways.
Yeah. Hey,
I mean,
I
will not name him, but I played golf with the guy a few weeks ago and I don't know for a fact he's a bag man at Georgia, but I played golf with a guy a few weeks ago dude, he's a member at like 7 different courses, including the one I just mentioned, Sage Valley.
$1 million a year.
And he's a huge Georgia fan. Oh, yeah. I'm like, shit. That motherfucker got Kirby on speed dial. Or Kirby's got him on speed dial.
That's what I'm about to say. Kirby's got him on speed. Hey, Ryan Puglisi keeps throwing picks. I need to come back out of the portal.
Right.
Dude, first off, can I borrow that? Like, just give me a month's worth of your golf earnings. Like, don't let me borrow it. Let me have it, because you're throwing Chris, they're not going there every week. You know that. Successful people.
But there was I tell you this, funny enough, and again, this is back early 2010s. I'm fresh out of college. I had never been to many places, really. I hadn't really traveled all that much. So it's kind of funny now thinking about this. The guys who would come in who would throw the most cash, because they've got like cabins on property. When people come, like they'd come out of town, they'd bring clients. They're there for like 4 or 5 days. The gunslingers were always from Texas. Those Texas dudes, bro, they'd come in and spend $200,000 on a trip. And I think the guy that was a member, he was like an apartment developer. Like, he owned all these apartments and shit. So he was in like Dallas and all over Texas. He was raking it in, obviously. Oh, but dude, I mean, they were some wild dudes too. Those Texas guys. I remember one guy, and this is again way back in my caddying days. I had a guy, they went out the night before. We had a tee time like 8:50 in the morning. I don't know, 8 o'clock. They went out the night before. Come to find out, they went to the strip club. I mean, had a time, like a true boys golf trip fashion. Which, side note, Blake's wife, if he ever goes on a golf trip, we're not going to the strip club. Just so you can go on a golf trip with me.
Yeah, right. We're not going to the strip club.
No, that's not typical. That's what these guys did. Dude, he gets out there though on the range like 7:30 in the morning. Got his styrofoam cup. 7:30 in the morning. Like, he gets on the range, first ball. He's over it, and I see him start to sway. And he goes, "Stop moving," like, to the ball. I'm like, brother, it's you that's moving. Like, yeah. Anyways, we had a good time. It was.
Oh, he's like so hungover or so drunk.
Probably still drunk. Yeah. I mean, again, these are guys like in their 40s, man. Dude, the golf course is where I learned about. If you remember this, I learned what Backpage was.
Oh. Oh.
If you remember what Backpage is, I didn't know what it was, but I learned very quickly what Backpage was.
I had a buddy who had a girlfriend, and that we all asked him where he met his girlfriend. He said Backpage, and everybody's like, at the time, no one understood. You know, like, I didn't know. And so we're sitting there, and I'm just thinking it's like an app. You know what I mean? Like, all like hand to God, no clue. And one of our buddies, who's a little bit sleazy, goes, "Oh, so she's a slut." And I'm like, "Oh God, what are we doing here?" So then they tell us what Backpage is, and we go and look at it, and we're like, "Dude, you're paying a hooker. You're paying a hooker to be your girlfriend."
It was the Craigslist of escorts. Yeah, what a
dude!
Time. Backpage, which no longer exists.
Yeah, they got in trouble. They got in serious trouble.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did.
Dude, anyways, there's no way. There's you can go to a website to find an escort.
Yeah. Those sites exist. Hand to God, I have never done so, but those sites exist. Anyways, though, Masters, Blake, those tickets, though, dude, it is like Willy Wonka when he found the golden ticket. That's what it's like having a ticket to the Masters. I mean, really.
It definitely is a bucket list thing. I'll be honest, for me, it's probably like 4th, 5th, 6th, somewhere around there.
Hopefully, Blake, not hopefully. I will get tickets one day. We will go. Because I'm telling you, and dude, it's like going in a time machine, bro. You can't bring your phone out there. You're not allowed to bring a cell phone. No phone. If they see you with a phone, you're gone.
Chris, they see that would actually now just
dude, you love it. It's like therapy going out there.
Right. And you don't have no worry in the world.
And on the practice round days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you can bring like an old camera. So dude, I literally brought a camera from like 2008
cameras.
Yo, yeah, like 2008. You can bring a disposable, take pictures. So it's cool. It's like the pictures you take, it feels like a vintage. It's like this was just today, but it looks like it was from like 20 years ago because this camera's so old. But dude, yeah, it is so nice, man. Like,
can I ask a question about that? Why would you have cameras out there for the TV stuff? Like, why does it have to be like disposable stuff? Like, what is that?
No, you can bring like You can bring a camera, period. It just it can't be a phone. I'm just saying, like, you can bring
I got you.
whatever kind of camera. Yeah, you could bring, if you bought like a new camera. Like, now, for example, I don't know if I could bring this thing I'm doing this show on.
The GoPro or
the Omni Pocket thing.
I got you.
Which, by the way,
insane.
I'm gonna get pause. Omni Pocket just doesn't sound right. Pause. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't. Anyways, the Omni Pocket 3 is the official name of this camera. Free plug, free ads for them, but major pause. Yeah, I don't know if I could bring this or not, but anyways, it is. I mean, dude, my master's experience last year, I went on Monday. It was the first time I've been in like 15 years. Like, I get there at like 8:30 in the morning. I leave my phone in the car, right? Obviously, I dropped everything. Leave my phone in the car. The only thing I brought with me, I had a camera from like 2009, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had 2 cigars and a lighter. And I started on one at like 9:30 in the morning. I walked the entire course. After walking the entire course, I think I had a beverage or two along the walk.
Mm-hmm.
After I walked the entire course, loaded up with like 5 sandwiches, one each. They're all like $2, $1.50.
Right.
The concessions are crazy. But the pimento cheese, I got the ham and cheese, I think it was the Masters Club, the barbecue sandwich. Loaded up. They've got a special beer out there, Blake. It's Crow's Nest, and the Crow's Nest at Augusta National is where the amateurs stay. So they have a special place, special on-property place where the amateurs stay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Playing in their first Masters. They got their own like Crow's Nest lager. You cannot get anywhere but the tournament. Granted, is it probably just some Pilsner? Probably, but like still, you got your own green cup, got Crow's Nest on it.
It's prestigious.
It's prestigious. And by the way, the first go around the course, smoke that cigar. Loaded up on food, loaded up on Crow's Nest, loaded up on beer. Beers are like $2. Having a time, stacking cups. It's about 3 o'clock. I go back out there. I'm like, let me go to some of my favorite holes. So I go out to like 12, 13. Who do I run into? Brooks Koepka's out there. Favorite golfer.
No crap.
Follow him from 13 on into 18. By the time I get in, it's like 6 o'clock. Head out. I had a perfect day last year. Perfect day. Here's the thing with me. I'd almost rather go on a practice. Like, for example, like next week, I'm actually going to Hilton Head to go to the beach and go to the RBC Heritage. At that tournament's a lot of fun because it's so much more relaxed than the Masters. You can bring a phone. It's like very fun.
Right.
But I'll go out there on the practice round, just walk the course. I just love hanging out the course and smoking a cigar. And yeah, it's a good time. I thoroughly enjoy
golf.
It
is definitely for the boys.
Oh, dude.
Definitely.
And I'm not going to lie. Let me be honest real quick. I'm not going to lie to you. Something that makes me love golf now even more, maybe this is just my appreciation and my gratitude kicking in, but there was a time, like, let's call it for what it is. Golf is a bougie sport. You have to have means to enjoy golf.
Right.
It is exclusive in that way. Now, golf has become much more inclusive, but it is exclusive in that way. Blake, I got to be honest. There's a part of me that like really likes that.
Oh, right.
Because there was a time where I couldn't enjoy it, and now I'm at a time where I'm like, I can. You know what I mean? Like, I can go to a golf tournament on a Wednesday and be smoking a cigar and drinking a cocktail at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and ain't nobody can tell me shit. That's just a good fit. Or I can go play golf on a Tuesday afternoon. Ain't nobody can tell me shit. That feels good. That feels good, man. I'll admit that. So
yeah, to your point, it's part of being a part of the, like I say the club, but a part of the status, the social status of like where everybody. Right.
That's the best way to you nailed it. That, like, I'll admit it. Maybe this is like some ego talking, but like I do like love the status, the cushy feeling. Like there's just a part of me that's like, now
everybody wants to be there. Don't act.
I didn't. Well, here's the thing. When I was a youngster, though, Blake, one of the things that drew me to baseball instead of golf, playing that like I felt like when I was a young cat, I fit in more with the culture of baseball, the dirt bag, the bros, like, because I wasn't a country club kid growing up, and like when you're playing competitive golf, bro, you're surrounded by, and I mean, dude, country club kids. I'm not saying they're all like this. But God, there's just so many like entitled, spoiled, rotten little pieces of shit, dude. Like, God, man, you don't get baseball's got its and Blake, I'm praying for you because baseball's got its politics and it can get really nasty and ugly and parents and all-star teams and bullshit showcase teams and travel ball. I know you're already kind of starting to experience this, but it's going to get worse. I'm telling you, as someone that went through it, it's going to get worse. The politics are so fucking stupid and it will piss you off. But yeah, golf is, I would say the only advantage golf has over something like that is golf is an individual sport. Like, bro, I don't need you to like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's a different, I don't need a coach.
My kid can play, he can play.
I don't need a coach to pick me for an all-star team. Like, bro, if I go out there and shoot 65, I shot 65 and you're going to respect the shit out of that. Like, baseball, you know, man, there's a real fuzzy line with like.
The coach's kids always make the team.
Yeah, exactly. So,
exactly.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Well, I'll tell you this. You're right. The politics behind it, the social status, but I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to be a part of that social status.
Like, yeah, dude, like when I get to Nashville, I'm fully planning on, from a networking perspective, getting involved at a golf course. It's a great way. Dude, you realize when you get into business, it's a great way to do business. It's a great way to network with people. Yeah.
I mean, dude, we that's our job, to network with people. People are never going to be a part of what you're doing without seeing you and being out in the community. They'll never do it. I mean, you know that, and I know they'll never do it. Why would they? Yeah. And I do think that golf is here I'll say this last thing for me on golf, but if I feel like that if you can play golf, everybody looks at you differently. Oh, like this dude can actually play. Like this dude's actually pretty good. And I'm like, brother, I could take a driver and swing as hard as I can. You get me within 100 yards, 100 feet of that thing, I have no idea where it'll go. I know one speed.
Blake, to your point, it's not the end all be all. It's not, because I'm not, certainly I would never say like, well, if you suck at golf, then, you know, it says something. I loved this quote from Rory McIlroy, which is like, this is how sickly competitive I get, Blake. Rory McIlroy he had a quote where he said, I think he's gotten better about this, but he was at a place where he felt like when he played golf poorly, like when he had a bad round, he had a bad day, he felt like he was a bad person. That's how serious it was to him. I'll have days too. I used to, maybe still do. Like, dude, it is like when you play, I'm telling you, Blake, when you play good golf, it is like this godlike feeling.
Aura.
Like I took this little object and literally like controlled it. I control this inanimate, or what is that word? Inanimate?
I don't know. I'm not. I graduated from public school.
Anyways, I controlled this little white sphere to wherever I wanted it to go. This makes me think too, because I'm thinking to myself,
and from 400 feet, put it in a small hole.
400 yards
or 400 yards. Excuse me.
I do love that. It makes me think of because what are the hardest things in sports? Golf's certainly one of them. When Chad Ochocinco said there's two things in life that are like impossible, hitting a 9,500 fastball and pleasing a woman long term. That was fucking funny. That was funny. That was funny.
It's also true.
But to what you were saying about the whole networking thing. So being in that caddy world, I got to be around a lot of successful, I'm talking like CEOs, entrepreneurs, you know, people in, again, high status. They were obviously playing a golf course such as that, where I think even for a guest round, Blake, it was like $600 for 18 holes. Can you imagine?
Insane.
Right. And you couldn't get out there unless you're with a member. So like there's that. But I had a guy tell me one time, he said, if I want to interview a guy or figure out, you know, if I want to learn about him, I can learn about everything I need to know about him and more than I ever would have learned in an interview on the golf course. I learn about his problem solving. I'll learn about his temperament. I'll learn about his patience. I'll learn about communication skills, like just being on the course, talking amongst each other. Dude, you learn all kinds of shit about people out there. Like I mean, think about it. You will learn if somebody's a hothead. And to your point, it is like, if you're good at golf, again, it's not the end all be all. It's not like, well, you better go get good at golf. But I will tell you, Blake, in the world of business, it is valuable to at minimum be good enough to be able to go out and play with people and have a good time. Because it just, again, from a social thing, from a, you know, if you're good at golf, this person is super competitive. They're a hard worker. They're resilient because golf is just, it's like baseball. It's a game of failure. It's a game of misses. They're super resilient. They're mentally tough. There's just all kinds of, and again, it's not the end all be all. Like, we all got our own shit, just because it's not one of those things you have to do. But I will tell you, it's like a gold star. You know what I mean? It's like, interesting. That's says something about that person. So.
Yeah. Hey, I closed $1 million deal on 18. It happens.
Yeah.
I knew we would do business at hole 2. That's the truth.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
I told you this. A very, very close friend of mine. They send them to take clients to the Masters. Remember, I told you they were at Pebble Beach not too long ago. They played at Pebble Beach, or one of the ones in Pebble Beach. Bro, businesses will send their top dudes out there that can play golf with high net worth clients just to show them a good time. I'll just say this. It's probably the largest chicken company. No, it's not Tyson, but it's probably the largest chicken company in the world, like literally. And he's literally going to be at the Masters this week, my buddy Matt, because he's taking like 3 clients. But they bought all their tickets. They'll be there. He'll pay for their food. He'll pay for their lodging. And I'm like, that's nuts. Bro.
I mean, Blake, in a world where you're,
what do I got to do to be a client? I literally told him this 2 weeks ago. I'm like, what do I got to do to be a client? Like, what do I got to do?
In a world, and especially in an industry with us, and especially us being independent, that's the kicker, where your network is your net worth. Again, golf is a great gateway to all of those things. The networking, the camaraderie, the building relationships, because people do business with people they like.
Exactly.
Bottom line. They don't do business with people that have the best ideas or the best logo or the best slogan. Those things matter for sure. You got to have a plan. But like, I'm wired this way, Blake. Like, you can be a C+ at whatever it is we're doing. I don't know. I'm not going to give a specific example, but I'm just a big believer in people, man. Like, if you're a good person, we click, we vibe, we'll figure all that other shit out. We will figure it out. But you can't force chemistry. You can't force, like, someone to be a good person, someone to be genuine, authentic themselves. You cannot force that. So
you can't want it more than they want it. You can't want it more for them. It's like, look, man, I'm with you. I mean, and it's so true. And like the big thing there too, especially in golf being a big part of it. You talk about your network being your net worth, bro. I mean, it's so true, because people aren't going to do stuff with you if they don't like you.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, to Matt, if he watches the show, because he watches a lot of our content, listen. Well, I'm gonna be. I will do whatever you want me to do, bud. Just take me to the Masters. Like
pause.
Oh yeah, well, massive pause. But I don't think. But see, you can't even say pause at the Masters. I'm sure that's got to be banned. No sexual innuendos.
Well, I don't know if they'd connect Paul's, and I think that's just us. I think that's a Blake Ruffino thing, and now becoming us thing. But yeah, you don't ever hear people on TV, like you watch golf tournaments, like mashed potatoes, light the candle, like the funny stuff. Dude, Augusta National would throw you out in a heartbeat.
They probably have you arrested.
They might.
I mean, they might.
And nobody, bro. Hey, there might be Italians running Augusta National, because they dispose of you and nobody'd ever know.
Dude, I'll tell you this. I probably should. Well, look, I just had some uncles that love golf. Loved them. Loved it. I'm like, listen, man, I ain't going out there with y'all crazy something. I love you. Thank you for the Christmas presents. Thank you for coming to the wedding. Thank you for everything you do for me. But I'm not going to play golf with you. I mean,
Blake, I know we're going long. Are you good on time?
I got a meeting at 12:30.
Okay, we'll get out of here. Really quickly, what's harder, golf or baseball?
Baseball for me. Yeah, baseball.
I'll tell you this. I think the hardest thing to do in sports is hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. I think the hardest sport is golf. Golf, because I can. Well, the hardest thing to do in sports is hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, because I can take an athlete from any other sport and they won't sniff Paul Skenes. They won't be able to see it, much less hit it. I can take Paul Skenes and put him on I can put him at tight end and teach him how to run a route.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not making light of you know what I mean though. Like it's, I can also teach him to play golf, but to play golf at the pro level,
yeah, no,
that's the hardest shit in sports, dude. To me,
I agree with that.
The hardest game, in my opinion, is golf. The hardest thing to do is hit a 95-mile fastball.
Right. Well, and I was just thinking, I think of Aaron Judge versus Brooks Koepka. Who goes through more? Brooks Koepka might do every 2 a month, 3 a month, 4 a month on a weekend. And I'm thinking this dude's out there 6 days a week at minimum trying to, square up a round ball at 101.
You ever heard the conversation between Lou Gehrig and Sam Snead? Sam Snead is the famous golfer.
I do, but
who Lou Gehrig is. So essentially, Lou Gehrig and Sam Snead were having this very argument, which is more difficult. And Sam Snead's quip back to Gehrig was, "Well, Lou, the difference between you and I is I have to play my foul balls."
Damn.
That's a hell of a comeback.
Damn.
Hey, if I foul one off, I got to go find it.
Well, I wasn't expecting that, but damn. Okay,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, I say baseball because I've played it. I've been around it in my family, but I don't play golf like that. So you did both.
Yeah.
And so I would
golf. I mean, baseball is incredibly frustrating too. But God, man, golf will just bring a grown man to his knees and make him cry, dude. It is so unbelievably hard.
Yeah, and that's what
makes it so fun, though. It's so rewarding when you do well. So,
well, and that's why a lot of people don't play is because they're not good at it. You could get a guy and he'll get a bat. He could at least make contact, in the backyard. Yeah. You can't get a guy to go out in the golf course just by 2 random people and then be okay. If that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah. Blake, final thing before we get out of here, we're going to wrap it up. I do want to get your thoughts because, again, we, as y'all know at this point, to your point, we mix it up talking SEC stuff, non-SEC stuff, sports stuff, non-sports stuff. And we can hammer this again next week because we're entering the midway point of conference play on the diamond. Now, hey, by the way, college baseball takes center stage. Congratulations to the Florida Gators, Todd Golden, winning the national championship. It was a crazy historic year for the SEC on the hardwood. But, again, it's no secret, Blake. You and I are baseball guys. We are coming into this is the 5th SEC weekend, so the halfway point of conference play. We got a new number 1. It's funny enough. You and I last week we were going to talk about how Michael Early is dead and gone, and it's over. And after the first game, I told you, yeah, that combo will still play next week, no biggie. Well, it's kind of like when Happy Gilmore learned how to putt. All of a sudden, they might be dangerous. Anyways, just overall, I know you're an LSU guy, so they come off the sweep of Oklahoma. By the way, I dropped my power rankings. I've got LSU Tennessee at 3, LSU at 4. I'm already getting comments that your Tennessee bias is showing. How fucking dare you? For the love of God. Hey, look, I can't wait in the month. It'll be set on the field. But thoughts just halfway point, biggest takeaways.
Yeah.
Any surprises? I mean,
let's go around the league. Number 1 for me, I do think Texas is the number 1 team in the country and deserves to be there.
And I had Arkansas. I know you and I.
Right.
Dude, I'll tell you, I went back and forth. Power rankings are different, Blake. So,
I understand.
I had Arkansas 2. Tennessee was 1. I just didn't feel right having Texas go from 4 to 1 and just jump them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just.
I understand that. I understand. Well, for me, it just comes down to a resume. It would come down to a resume thing, right? In reference to you beat the number 3 team twice, right? So Georgia was at 3. Now LSU's at 3. You swept 1 and you beat 2 out of 3. I told you this, what was it, 3 weeks ago, that I think that hitters 2, 3, 4, 5 for Texas is probably the most dangerous lineup in the SEC. I got laughed at. Not by you, but by some people. And, well, lo and behold, I think Texas is really good. They're banged up, Chris, but they're still winning. I do wonder when that SEC moment happens for them, right? Because it is going to happen, and they're going to lose.
Everybody
has it. So when does it happen? You asked about A&M and Tennessee. I've seen a lot of people, though, talk about, well, it's just one day of baseball. And we talked about this. I understand, like, it's just one day of baseball, but that's 18 innings of baseball that they dominated you. And there's two things that we can bring up here. It is the craziest thing that A&M won that series, but it's also the not most craziest thing. Chris, they came into the season the number one team in the country. So, okay, you did exactly what we thought that you can do. You do still have the talent that we knew that you had. The thing with me with Tennessee is this. Boy, this is going to get Vol Twitter mad. Who are you? Because I know that Liam Doyle's arguably the or one of the best Friday night game one starters in the league. But Chris, they swept a 1-10 or no 1-11, right? Florida. I think South Carolina has 2 wins in conference. Then you went up against A&M and they beat you, but A&M's a good, like, dude, they got talent all over the place.
They were the pick to win the national title by like everybody.
By everybody. Oh, no, this team, of course, they can't be touched. I don't think that they had gotten tested to that point. Just being honest, I don't think that they had been tested. And then, in baseball, when momentum and when confidence starts breeding in a team, there's nobody that was beating A&M that day. Not Tennessee, not anybody. And so what? You lost the series to a really good team. The question for me becomes, I do ultimately believe that Tennessee will respond here. But the question now becomes for me is, now what does A&M do with this? That will be the ultimate question. Because, look, the truth of it is you do have the talent. And Michael Early and A&M, they faltered halfway through the season. You cannot make an argument that they had a tough go of it, faltered in a year one of a head coach. But now you have a momentum. I told you this. I'm like, man, they could LSU this thing from last year. I mean, we literally just saw it. And listen, they have the dudes to do it. Nobody can say that they don't. They have the dudes. Laviolette, the young freshman out right. You got dudes. You can hit with anybody in the country. So, Chris, all eyes go back on A&M, ironically, in my opinion, because they are one of the most dangerous teams in the land if they are right. Here's the thing, though. The top 6 teams in the SEC are all dangerous and all can beat you. And if Oklahoma's the 7th best team, Chris, that's a 2 seed in a regional. That can win a regional, right? And so that's the part for me that I'm just saying to myself, like, it's so top-heavy. But I will bring this up in talking about all these teams up top. I don't know if Arkansas has been tested against one of these bigger players. Like, you beat Vandy, okay. I still have a lot of questions on Vandy. You beat Ole Miss. Well, Ole Miss, they got a lot of experience, but do they have the talent that you'll see in some of these other matchups?
Interesting. They're ranked top 10. That feels – hey, they'll have their opportunity this weekend. Tennessee comes to their place. Liam Doyle, Andrew Fisher going back. We've had Ole Miss people comment on all our stuff saying Liam Doyle and Andrew Fisher are walking into a damn hornet's nest. So we'll see.
They're going to want it more than you. And listen, you just lost 2 or 3. The top half of the – Chris, if Ole Miss is the 6th team in the country, now what? Like, they're the 6th team in your conference. You can lose that. And listen.
On the road.
Listen now. We'll see tonight, and we'll see how Tennessee responds. They can go in there and win it. I would actually pick them to win it if I'm being blunt. But, bro, it's not – you don't have an off week here. Ole Miss is a solid club. So if they can go into Oxford and do it, I mean, it would be a big feat. But, man,
you talk about building momentum too. You talked about A&M. They're 3-9. LSU. I think the difference is LSU's front half was a gauntlet. A&M hasn't even. I say they haven't. They've gotten to the gauntlet. They beat Tennessee, but they've still got many, many, many hurdles, including LSU to climb. But you get South Carolina at home this weekend.
Chris, they win that series, they're right back in the thick of things.
I was saying, like, what if they sweep and they're 6-9 at the halfway point?
Then you know what we're talking about? They can win the rest of the series from here on out and host.
What a redemption type of story. I will say this. I was going to say,
sold the soul to the devil.
What a redemption story for Michael Early it would be. I still, though, I know you said, Blake, you disagree. I'm still kind of like, it was one day of baseball. Like I can't forget what A&M did the 7 games before that day. Mm-hmm. Like they showed what they are capable of, but I feel that here's the thing, in a world of hot takes and overreactions, Blake, I actually didn't have a hot take leaving that series. I was stunned, obviously, like you were and everybody was. That was the upset of the college baseball season. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was one of the biggest upsets I've ever seen in college baseball, just what we had seen at that point and then what happened. I'm not overreacting from Tennessee's perspective or A&M's perspective. I just –
you shouldn't.
Baseball is a game where, like you said, when it's not your day, it's not your day. And the unfortunate part for Tennessee is they played 2 of them motherfuckers in one day. Like, I fully believe this, Blake, and people can say whatever. I fully believe if they played a Sunday game instead of a doubleheader, Tennessee wins that series. I fully believe that. I really do.
Because they'll have a whole night to respond.
Right. But after getting your punch in the face, and then you got to go play 45 minutes later, A&M's feeling good. Like, it was a perfect scenario. We'll see. I mean, listen, I've talked to you about it off record. I hope A&M gets it rolling. That fan base is great. They engage with our stuff a ton. I'd love to see A&M get rolling. Mm-hmm. But, the league is, to your point, very, very top-heavy. I mean, outside of A&M, they were the biggest surprise. I mean, obviously, I think Florida's just – I can't believe how bad they are. I mean, they're awful. They're awful. I am – the teams I'm sticking a fork in, halfway point before we get out of here, Blake, teams I'm sticking a fork in. Mizzou, South Carolina, the Florida Gators. My fork is still in A&M. That schedule going down the stretch is brutal. There's just no way. They're going to – I think they'll beat South Carolina. They'll beat Mizzou. Let's say they sweep 1, take 2 or 3. That's 5 wins. Puts them at 8. Like, they got to get at least 5 more SEC wins out of Arkansas, Texas, LSU, Georgia. Who am I missing?
LSU.
No, I said LSU.
Okay.
There's one. Arkansas, Texas, Georgia, LSU, and somebody else that for whatever reason, another top team. Anyways, they have a gauntlet down the stretch. There's just no way. I will keep my fork in A&M. I will keep it for now. I said after the Kentucky series, I thought they were dead. I'm just not gonna change off that quite yet. I'm more than happy to be wrong, but those, what I say, Mizzou, South Carolina, Florida, A&M, I feel pretty confident. And Mississippi State is like they're right on the fringe because I mean they had to win a rubber game against that South Carolina team who ain't very good. So so that would put us at what? That put us at 11. 11 getting him. And shit, we're probably gonna have 6 that host, maybe 7 that host.
Shit, you might have 8.
Might have 8. Might have half the field hosting.
Yeah, you might have half the field hosting. The thing with A&M, here's where I am with them personally. I agree with everything that you just said. But man, they're dangerous. They are. They're dangerous. If what they figured out this weekend continues, it's the best case scenario happened to them this weekend. Because this could change your entire trajectory throughout the entire program and the entire season. They scare the shit out of me. I'm just gonna call it like I said. They scare the shit out of me. I don't care that they're 3-9. Like they scare the shit out of me. That's just me. I mean, in reference to Florida, bro, I want to be careful how I say this. When I watched them personally with my 2 eyes, I don't know if this is true at all. I feel like that entire team's given up. Like that's how I now what's crazy is that these older guys that have been there a long time, like Shelton hit a home run the other night, if I'm not mistaken. Ty Evans kind of got, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of weeks ago, was really hot. But Chris, on the mound, this is the worst I've ever seen a Florida team on the mound ever. Like I know that they're banged up and they have injuries. I just feel like that I'm watching a team that really just doesn't give a shit. That now I could be wrong, And I could be vastly wrong there. But again, I'm just looking at a team. Of course, I watched their game from this weekend. 3-2 count. Runner on second and third. Fastball right down the UI. No pause, no loop. And they're taking it. There's no competitive, like, I didn't see any fire. The dude walked back to the dugout and he was like, oh. I'm like, bro. And then Sully lost his godforsaken mind, and he should have. And that's how I feel about, like, bro, you could have taken a series. You could have completely changed your thing around. Chase Laviolette was the one that gave A&M that hit to tie the game at 2. Your big performers have got to perform in big situations. So for that, Chris, I think you're right. I feel like I'm seeing a team that just doesn't give a flying shit.
Yeah, when you're doing some of the little things they're doing wrong, Blake, those little things are there's it's a pride thing.
Yep.
When you take pride in what you do, you don't make those. I mean, listen, mistakes happen, but at the rate at which they're doing it, I agree with you. I think not all that roster, but here's what nobody wants to say, Blake, in closing. And I don't know that coaches can really come out and say this, and I don't know that I know fans don't want to hear this. But if I was speaking to the Florida fan base, and sometimes you just have to come out, Blake, and say, we just got a bad crop of guys this year. There's just no other way to put it. Like, Kevin O'Sullivan didn't forget how to coach. That entire coaching staff didn't forget how to coach. Sometimes you just have a bad crop of guys. I think Florida's got a bad crop of guys. Like,
they got Florida Stated. You went out and got some mercenaries, and it didn't work.
And oh, by the way, they have Florida State in the midweek in Gainesville. So that,
which, by the way, Florida State lost 2 of 3 to Wake Forest. But Florida,
Blake, in closing,
Chris, they beat them. They beat them one game already.
I know. And should have beaten them the other one. Gave up a lead in the top of got walked off bottom of the night when that kid went for the cycle. So
yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
By the way, he's hitting 470.
What is that kid's name again? I don't remember, but that dude's a stud.
Yeah.
Blake, always a pleasure, man. It's a lot of fun. We're going to get out of here, guys. Again, appreciate you all tuning in. This is episode 2 of To Your Point every single week. Tuesday nights, we'll air this thing live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You already know the drill. Again, appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure, as always, you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast. If you get your podcast, you can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. And make sure you follow Blake Ruffino, follow AYS Sports, follow Ruffino and Joe Show, follow me, CPhilly19. Make sure you stay tuned to SEC Unfiltered. Guys, we appreciate y'all. We're signing off. Until next time, for Blake, I'm Chris. Peace.